hello, and welcome to This Week in Gwent, special episode number 2 of the new format. I'm here with Specimen. How do you want to be called? Joe? Specimen? Speci? What's the...
Yeah, whatever, to be fair. I don't mind. Do you know, the worst one is Specimen, which Pumpkin used to call me for a long time. As long as it's not that, I'm good.
Awesome. It's really awesome to have you here. By popular demand, man, I saw the poll that I did after the first episode with Zubidoo. You had like 48 or 49%, if I recall correctly, based on the other people. So you destroyed the competition, I have to say. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's nice. I'm not used to winning popularity contests. Certainly at school, that wasn't the case, I don't think. So it's nice.
Yeah, awesome stuff. We'll get to you after we go through our normal run of the things that happened in Gwent this week, of course. We'll go through some red news. We will have some community news. We'll have a couple memes, and I have a bonus thing that me and Ryan are cooking for you guys. But yeah, we'll get to that. Thank you. I'm happy that you like my mic, Ryan.
Yeah, your streamer, like the fact that I'm the streamer here and like you've just got like the backdrop compared to mine, it's so impressive, mate. Even got the plants as well. I love it.
Yeah, I mean the plants are here to stay. So yeah, I mean the backdrop is okay, apart from the door. If someone accidentally walks in, it might be a bit awkward, but no one will notice, right? Nothing bad will happen. Okay. For those of you who have any questions, I know there are a couple in the forums. I will go through a selected couple by the end when we go through the new stuff, and then we'll get to especially we'll talk about all the cool stuff that concern him and his presence in Gwent, what he does, what he likes, what he dislikes, all the good stuff. And I think it's gonna be a good one. Cool. You want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Sounds like a winner to me.
Cool. Red news. 2 items this time on the board. One is the esports bundles are back. So you can get all of them for all the seasons that we had this year. And if you get all of them, you will be supporting esports, and you'll be supporting, of course, Gwent World Masters, which is happening on December 4th and 5th. Yeah, it's going to be a good event, especially. Are you excited for it?
Yeah, really excited for Masters. Obviously, like we've got the full lineup now, and it is very, very stacked. I think like in quite a lot of the opens this year, there's been a few people that maybe aren't as familiar to the community, but I think everyone involved really is a bit of a mainstay. There's a couple of maybe outsiders compared to the others, but some of the biggest names. And yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, agreed here. Can't wait for it. Hopefully we can get some new jackets, some nice new bling, and I can already tell you there will be a lot of leaks, because as you guys know, we also said that sometime around December we'll be dropping a couple cards to Gwent, and you might see those cards appear there, but you haven't heard it from me. So yeah, no leaks. Some problems today. That's the second item we had in the game, that you could not log in, especially it was happening on iOS for some people on Steam. So this was thankfully solved quite quickly. So yeah, easy clap, fixed it. Not many news today, to be honest. Just those 2 items. Of course, there is one topic that we don't want to really talk about, but you guys know the topic, so I don't really need to talk about it. Easy.
I don't know. No,
not
heard about anything, mate.
Totally. Community news, also 2 items. One is the Beginner's Guide, episode 15 on Bonded, hosted by Calvino. Highly recommend watching that one. And another episode of Flake Miri, episode 6. Shimiri and him meaning Flake, discuss the stigmas and pitfalls of net decking in Gwent. I should let the guys know that Gwent should be all capital.
I've actually listened to that podcast. It's really interesting. Flake at the end as well. Like Shin was like they were naming their dream esports like tournament where it would be, and Shin was like, "Oh, I'd like to go to Iceland." And then Flake had to reveal that there's a cards tournament in Iceland, but it's the same weekend as World Masters, so he had to pick. So Yeah, it was really cool. Listen, definitely worth a listen.
Yeah, hopefully he chooses World Masters. I mean, World Masters, I think a little bit of a bigger event in this case, but yeah, yeah. Moving on, two memes on the agenda for today. When you reach level 30 is in Regis's journey, music volume, and then yeah, playing the Dawn music. Really, really cool. Turn it up to 11. And then Good Night, Miss Charbonneau, reference to James Bond. Fun fact: Letitia is gonna get a bit of a nerf. That's the information I got most recently. So
Damn.
yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay.
something might happen here.
Even more leaks. I love it.
Yeah,
I
even more
didn't.
leaks.
I have, even though I'm English and it's James Bond, I didn't get the reference. I have to say, I saw that one and I was just like, well, okay.
I also didn't get it in the beginning, but someone pointed in the comments that it's a reference to James Bond, and I was like, oh yeah, it actually is. It's one of the old Bond movies, and yeah, it all came together. Okay.
Yeah, I prefer the meme on the left, I reckon, Burza, because I love the music in the journey. It's my favorite thing. Just especially as a streamer as well, just being able to have like some different tracks to listen to.
I agree.
And obviously, like Witcher 3, the music was one of the best parts. I still on the regular listen to Witcher 3 music when I'm
Same.
just working or on in the background when I'm doing videos, when I'm just talking. So more music is just such a winner.
Yeah, I
It's my
agree.
favorite addition to the journeys recently.
I agree. I really like listening to the music, even though I feel like I should be already kind of, fed up with it because I hear it so many times, but still it's something that's incredible. And I remember when I joined the company, one of the best things for me kind of was actually getting to talk to Marcin Przybyłowicz for the first time. And he, getting, like, I did the first Gwent rap with him, which was funny. And yeah, he was also kind of the mastermind behind this. Like, he's very passionate about music and does it very well. And I just love people who have that energy. So easy clap. Okay, before we get to Speci, why don't we showcase the thing that we're talking about? So, as you guys know, there will be some cards which will be coming to the game in December, because people know that already, and they will have arts, and we're gonna showcase those arts, but in an interesting way. Cause wait, give me a second. So what I need to do is, because there won't be any sound on that one until I do this. Forgot about this one. Okay, now there should be sound on it. Yeah, there. This is something for sure. So it's a ripped up art. Ryan was nice enough to rip up arts from Gwent, and they will become a full art. And actually, we're gonna give them to some content creators. I'm showcasing the first one, but we're gonna spread it around, spread the love, and we will let you guys collect these parts. And once you collect all the pieces of the puzzles, you will be able to see the full image. Maybe.
I think Cat's cracked it, mate. I think it's Dagon. I think they're onto something.
Yeah, I mean everybody always wants Dagon, right? It's like whatever we show, maybe not even connected to it. Dagon confirmed. It's either Dagon or Project Golden Necker. It's either one of those two. So yeah, that's people are kind of thinking, yeah, Pavka as a Skellige leader, interesting take for sure. But no, I don't think so. Okay, questions which were added to the forums, which I wanted to highlight. I'll try to go quickly through these. One question was about changing journey to be advanced by quests instead of wins. I would like to stick to the older format, I think, in this case. Will there be a reveal campaign for the 12 card drops in December? As you guys know, we will be showcasing most of these cards at a big event by the end of the year, which you can probably decipher what the big event by the end of the year for Gwent is. And the cards will be there, but like I said, me and Ryan were trying to do something different this time and pretty much spread some pieces of arts. You guys put it together and you'll be able to see what's happening and what arts and cards you can expect. Um, yeah, losses by disconnect and reducing MMR. Well, that is kind of part of the whole thing. I think in any game that you play online, if you get disconnected, it's not like you will not get anything deducted from your account. I mean, it needs to be punishing in some way. And yeah, pretty much. I think that's it. There were some questions about like auto battle modes for Gwent. Nothing that I think is going to happen in this case. And yeah, when it comes to seasonal trees and seasons, some things will change next year, but you guys will find out probably more during World Masters because yeah, we're cooking some really cool stuff for that one. Okay, without further ado, that was quick. We managed to do it in 10 minutes. I don't want Spessy to be sitting here quietly. Why do you call yourself an absolute geezer? Let's start with that one.
That's the question.
Yeah.
I think like so geese is just a word that's like thrown around quite a lot where I'm from. Like traditionally, I think it means more like old man, but lots of people sort of my age would go, "All right, geese, what's up, geezer?" So I think like probably it just came about from like one year, a couple years back in the summer, I was working on like a scaffolding site, and everyone was calling them each other geezers and stuff. So I was just calling like, "Oh, this card is an absolute geezer," and then it turned out people really like just loved that phrase, so it just caught on really. And then
Nice.
the Pabs made an emote that was called Absolute Geezer, and then yeah, it's just cracked on. I was always honestly I was thinking about rebranding and ditching Specimen, just going for Absolute Geezer, but I've stuck with Specimen for the moment.
Good, good. Yeah, that's what people know you for. But yeah, I wanted to know the origin story behind that. Speaking of origin stories, when did you start playing Gwent for the first time? What was your inception to Gwent? Which time did you join?
Yeah, so I actually first played Witcher 3.
Mm-hmm.
So randomly, I was at university and I was watching like some YouTube videos. I was before I played Gwent, I was a big FIFA player growing up. Like everyone sort of in my area was just going around each other's house playing FIFA.
Nice.
And then the other big one was Call of Duty, which like in my
Mm-hmm.
teen years I wanted to be a professional Call of Duty player. That was like my ambition. And then I wanted to play a single player game. Like I never really even played Skyrim. My little brother did, but I would kind of like to sink myself into a single player game. And I actually watched an Angry Joe review of The Witcher 3, who's a
Nice.
YouTuber, and he
Yeah.
gave it a 10 out of 10. And I was like, mate, I'm sold. All right, I'll try this game out. And then it probably took me like a year to complete because I'm very bad at committing to single player games. But yeah, Gwent was the part of it that I really enjoyed the most. I remember being at university and just listening to the Gwent music and I'd be telling my friend that I lived with, I was like, mate, this single player game is so good, it's so good. And then yeah, I finished Witcher 3 eventually. It took me ages. I didn't play the DLC at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was looking on the PS Store for like a new game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the free store because I had no money. And I saw Gwent had a like a standalone. I was like, oh, what? Okay. So I downloaded it and yeah, went from there. So
Nice.
I
So
think
you
I played for
discovered us
maybe,
on consoles, right?
yeah,
Nice.
so that was back early 2017. And then for my 21st birthday in 2017, I actually spent £50
Mm-hmm.
on, which is about all I had at the time, from I got for my birthday on a PlayStation camera. And I just started streaming Gwent from my PS4. So I actually
Nice.
started. It's actually not super known, but actually my first Gwent stream was like 2017. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually doing it a long time, really. Like I think I'm a week before Ocean Mud I started,
Yeah.
like and like Celebrate around that time. So, but what I'd often do is I'd play Gwent and stream it during the summer months. I'd go back to uni and then disappear off the face of the earth.
That's
So yeah,
incredible. Yeah, you start on a PS4. That's an interesting way to start streaming, right? Because it's yeah, streaming from consoles isn't something that normally like most streamers they start off streaming from PC, right? And then
hmm
there are of course streamers who stream from consoles, but it's interesting and also a card game, on console. I remember we were at that time on both PS4 and Xbox, but yeah, the experience when it came to patching was not the best, and then we kind of
yeah, I can imagine.
moved away from those and kind of moved on to all the mobile devices since yeah, I think all card games are kind of going in that direction that you have the possibility to sit down on the commute and actually play the game on your phone or tablet or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah,
exciting.
and that decision, like on my 21st birthday, to buy that PS4 camera, if I didn't do that, I probably wouldn't be here now today. So like, that's always my big answer when people ask, "What's like your biggest tip to like people that want to stream?" Because this is something that Flake and Shamir were talking about in their podcast. So my like main bit of advice is just start. just crack on. Like even if you don't have like the best equipment, just start, because what it meant for me was when I built my PC last year, like when lockdown started, I already had like maybe like 1,000 followers on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
I had like maybe 400 subs on YouTube, and I had loads of experience making videos, doing streams. And while it wasn't the highest quality, it just meant that actually when I had all the pieces and like everything just lined up, I was, I could just go for it really, and it just took off from there really, really quickly.
Nice, nice, and it's nice to see the progression. I think you also shared on your Twitter, like, your old setup that you used to have like a PS4, and you got like a super cheap monitor just to set up everything, and that's kind of your origin story. Plus, like we could see like in your apartment you had things being fixed. So,
The
uh,
roof, the roof fell in.
oh God.
Uh, I still am living at home, but I think it was during the summer months when I was back from university,
Hmm.
and my dad was always quite funny about me like having like a PlayStation in my room or whatever, because he knows I'll be up all night, which I still do to this day.
Hmm.
But obviously he saw it as more of like a I'm just wasting my time kind of thing, whereas now he can see, it's a little bit more than that. But he was that was like the best place I could have it because it was sort of out of the way from everyone. But then the roof fell in, and I was like, I'm just gonna continue. I'm just gonna. I had to like sneak in through the. It was a nightmare, but that's it, man. Like, despite all the sort of things, I always came back to Gwent, and it was just always something I really enjoyed doing. And I think even I remember Christmas. I think it was 2 years ago now when Gwent on PlayStation had sort of stopped, and I
Hmm.
didn't have that to do anymore because couldn't afford a PC really. I remember being like really down over Christmas time, and I didn't really realize it at the time, but it's probably because I didn't have streaming anymore. That was just something that disappeared. So it's just something that's constantly kept me sane. And I remember when lockdown happened last year, I was scrolling on my phone. I was
Hmm.
on the loo. I'll admit, I was on my phone. And I saw a picture of Kel Tullis on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I remember how much I love that card. And yeah, from that, I decided, mate, I'd been saving up for a car, but I was like, "What's the point? I'm just gonna get a PC, just go
Nice,
for it."
nice. So you went all in on your passion in this case.
That's it.
Incredible. What did you study on in university? What was your major?
Primary school teaching. So yeah, I
Oh,
was working
okay.
as a yeah working full time as a primary school teacher. I was in my first year of full
Hmm.
time teaching when COVID happened. So then I did like finish my first year as like doing online teaching,
Hmm.
and then I was back in the classroom last year from September to December. But then I've been doing this full time now since January.
Wow, really, really cool. And how does it feel to be a full-time content creator streamer?
It's very different. I mean, I was watching you talk with Zubi last week about that moment where it goes from being your hobby to your job.
Exactly.
And that's definitely something that I struggled with for a while because I was playing the game so much. I was streaming for like crazy amounts, like sometimes like 10, 12 hours a day. And then I would even play off stream a lot of the time.
Hmm.
And then I would be socializing because obviously couldn't really go anywhere. I'd be socializing by watching other people play Gwent and like hanging out in calls and stuff, which was great. But then I think like probably around like July this year, I kind of just burnt out of the game quite a bit.
Hmm.
So I just took a bit of a break. And now I've just got a much more healthy relationship, I think, where I'm only playing when I'm streaming. And as a result, I'm enjoying my time a lot more.
Nice, nice. But yeah, you actually it's very, let's say, courageous of you in this case to actually go all in on something because, a lot of people, they kind of go in the direction of getting a 9 to 5 job and sticking to it, and they feel safe in it, and they're kind of afraid to move into full-time streaming. Although if you think about it, like the pandemic in some way kind of helped push people to create more and more content, since they're kind of they have to be stuck at home, especially when we had like hard lockdowns when you could not get out of the house. So you're more incentivized then just to create content, interact with people online. I also think like streaming is this thing that lets you create a community around you, around the things that you enjoy, and the people that come there are the people who enjoy you as a person and enjoy the game that you're playing. So it all creates this social thing where you're able to interact with people, and I think that's something that also needs to be remembered here, and it's really cool. Yeah, just wanted to add that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a weird one for me as well. Like if I look back, if the lockdowns didn't happen and COVID didn't happen, I would have just continue to be teaching full time, and it would have been. I still had plans to get a PC and return at some point, but it would have been a long time down the line, and I always found it very difficult to manage being a full time teacher with streaming even a little bit. I mean, if you look at my sort of Twitch statistics from last year when I got back in the classroom in September, I just pretty much stopped streaming because it was just, like teaching's just got that endless list of things to do, and it just
Oh yeah.
doesn't as a job, it doesn't really mix well with having like a part-time piece on the side, because it's just, you can work 25 hours a day as a teacher and you'd still have like some stuff to do as your on your list.
It
So
never ends, right? You need to prepare for the next classes. You need to think about all the homeworks. You need to do all the things. Plus, a lot of things in school now are fully automated and they're kind of online for the parents to see. So you need to fill those things in, and there's a lot of work that also goes into all these things. So yeah, like you
and
said,
you've
yeah, it
always
never
got
ends.
plans and then something goes wrong, like Billy hits Charlie but right at the end of the day and there's tears, and then you've got to deal with all that, speak to the
Yeah.
parents. And but yeah, it was really good fun. Like, I do love teaching. It's something that when I was at uni, the whole time I didn't want to be teaching. I wanted to play video games, but then I've turned it into um a way more healthy and productive sort of take by just committing to the stream. And obviously I've got very lucky really that it's all worked out for me and that I have been able to do it full time. But also, like, I wouldn't be surprised if I end up going back into teaching like down the line. And certainly
Mhm.
if like in a hypothetical world where like the streaming really takes off and I'm able to do it for a long time, I'd love to do like some sort of like charity work with like to do with gaming and teaching,
Oh,
and
that's
that'd be
cool.
something I'd love to do.
Yeah. And it's interesting because primary school children, I mean, they're cute and nice, but it's also the hardest thing because they're loud and they're
Oh
super
mate, I
super
love
young
it.
and
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, you like that energy, right?
Yeah, I love it, mate. It's just like, just one thing that for me was always great was I just always laugh, mate. They just always make me laugh, and I think maybe that's because I could relate to them a lot, really. Still, like, even though I'm like 25 now,
Hmm.
I was always the youngest teacher in all the schools I was in. But even then, like, I just feel like I can always relate to the younger children quite a lot. Like, I didn't always have the easiest childhood, I'd say myself. So I think, yeah, I just enjoy being around them and just laughing and having a good time, really.
You have any brothers or sisters or anything like that, or are you
I've got
single?
yeah, I've got an older sister who
Okay.
is like a lot to follow. She's a lot more intelligent. I've got a little brother who's the same. And then I've got a little sister she's my half sister, but she's
Hmm.
she's she's almost taller than me actually, and she beat me at chess as well, which isn't
Oh,
great. So
nice, nice.
yeah.
You mentioned chess here. Are there any, let's say, strategic slash, I don't know, like mind focused games or card games or anything like that that were kind of an influence for you in the beginning, or something that you did before Gwent, or was Gwent your first like CCG that you started off with?
Yeah, so never really played anything properly until Gwent. Certainly not online, but I
Mm-hmm.
did play Yu-Gi-Oh when I was growing up. But we didn't
Nice.
play it. We didn't play it properly. We made up our own rules, like simplified it massively. So my sister had a deck. I had a deck. It was
Mm-hmm.
mainly my sister and I that played. My little brother, I think, got some of our cards, but he was just too bad. Like, it didn't really count. So, and then the other big one was like we used to collect like football trading cards, and I mean top trumps, which doesn't really count as much as Yu-Gi-Oh. But then also FIFA, which is the closest thing I came to FIFA Ultimate Team, where like you
Mm-hmm.
have the cards of the players.
Yes.
And I used to spend hours on different websites where you could like there was like the card database,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like be kind of deck building where I'd try and
Oh,
like fit, oh, how
nice.
can I get Messi and Ronaldo in the same team and all
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. So I guess that was like a big reason when I started Gwent, like deck building was just something that really appealed to me.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's interesting because for some people it's like they start off with one card game, but for others, I always use my example of kind of MTG, so Magic being kind of the first card game that I played, and also when I played it as a kid, probably the rules oversimplified, and kind
Hmm.
of you play it differently now, especially what resolves when, which effect is on the stack and which one triggers first and stuff like that. Like you didn't think about those things as a kid. You were just, oh, this is a cool art, it's an angel, it's a 4/4, it must be good, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, it's interesting that you said that. Yu-Gi-Oh also, I think Yu-Gi-Oh is a there's a lot of people who started with Yu-Gi-Oh and kind of move on to other CCGs later on, so
Yeah,
that's
I
really
had
cool.
Pokemon cards as well, but
Same.
for me it was Yu-Gi-Oh was actually Pokemon on my Game Boy. Like there's pictures of me when I'm like 4 or 5 years old with my Pokemon shirt playing like something on my Game Boy Color. So Pokemon was
Nice.
definitely a big one, but yeah, I think Yu-Gi-Oh more so actually playing it. But as I say, we made up the rules. Like I know you've got to like tribute stuff. We just like if you've got the best card, you just play that card on the board. Good to go.
Win. I win. Thank you. Believing in the heart of the cards.
Exactly.
FIFA also, like I see football coming in and out. Is it just like FIFA related, or are there any teams that you follow, or any other sports that you're really into?
Yeah, I'm a big football fan. So my dad is from Liverpool,
Oh,
and he
nice.
supports Everton, the worst team in Liverpool. But as a result, we're that's my family. We're all Evertonians. So that's actually why a big reason I went to university in Liverpool, because I'd always heard stories growing up about Liverpool, and like 'cause my uncles and aunties and grandparents are from there too. So yeah, I picked my university choice because I wanted to go watch the footy.
Nice, nice.
And my little brother's actually still living there, so he's just finished his masters. But he's also went to university in Liverpool as well. But he's still there, settled down. He's got a Scouse girlfriend, so he's
Oh,
he's
okay.
he's really settled down there. And I've not actually been able to go for like almost a year now.
Mm-hmm.
No, almost 2 years because of Corona. But
Yeah.
he's finally had his graduation. He's got an actual graduation date. He's had both of his graduations
Mm-hmm.
cancelled, like from his actual
Okay.
degree and his masters. But they've actually set up a date for his master's ceremony in January, so I'm gonna get to go and visit.
That's really cool.
Hopefully go watch the football, but maybe not. We'll have to see.
Nice. Any other sports that you follow or are into?
Not really. I mean, I watch things occasionally, but mainly just football. My granddad actually likes cycling quite a lot, so
Oh,
I
nice.
used to watch
Respect.
like Tour de France a little bit and stuff like that, but never personally. I like cycling myself. Like I used to cycle to place when I was at university. I would cycle into school and have my
Mm-hmm.
little bike that cost me £30, and all the kids thought it was really
Oh,
cool. But
nice.
nah, only football for me really. But like if something's on TV, like my dad watches a lot of golf or cricket, I'll sometimes watch a little bit. But football is the main one for me. How about yourself? Are you apart from cycling? Is there anything else?
I really watch a lot of cycling. I also watch football from time to time. I mean, football here is quite big,
Hmm.
especially when I was growing up. Like everybody would root for Legia, which is like the home
Hmm.
Warsaw team based, and we would go to matches. Also, my dad pretty much was always into football. So, and my grandfather and almost everybody in the family. I think it's one of the biggest sports in Poland.
Hmm.
So I kind of follow it a little bit, but I'm not very, like really, really much into it. Apart from that, of course, cycling. Marathons I don't really watch. Only like I see a little bit because it's just people running, and it's much funner to run it yourself. Not easier, but funner. Um, and apart from that, if there's like Olympics or any other big tournaments, always watching those and checking
Hmm.
those out for sure. Yeah.
I've got a bit of a soft spot for Poland's national football team now. After being involved with Gwent for so long, I've got so many Polish friends. Like when I'm watching them, I love them too well. And I know Matty Cash, who's Aston Villa right back,
Yeah.
has just started playing for Poland as well. And
Yep.
he actually scored a really good goal against Everton this season. But I think he's a great player. I like him a lot.
Yeah, and we of course we have Lewandowski playing for Poland, which kind of we feel like we really need to be supporting that because yeah, I mean football historically has been a big thing that this country has been very proud of. Although, watching our team right now, apart from him, the rest of the guys, not doing too super
Hmm.
well to be honest. Speaking of sports, let's move on to esports. We had you on one of the opens for the first time this year. How was that experience for you? I mean, you're known as a very cool caster, great personality. So how was the first one for you?
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Like it was great to work with Jag as well because she'd done it so many times. So when we
Mm-hmm.
had rehearsals and stuff like that, she's sort of like telling me ahead of time what was gonna like it was gonna be like and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it felt like having done all the qualifier casts as well, it felt like quite a smooth transition. I do remember it being really hot in my room though that day, and like not having any aircon was probably a mistake. But no, it was really really good. I absolutely loved it, and also, like the Masters won this year.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the other side of it because Freddie Babes asked me to help him prepare for it.
Oh, that's
So I was involved with like helping Freddie build decks. So that was like another great experience like in those little months. And that's probably as well a little part of the reason why I felt burnt out because I went from I was streaming at that time and helping Freddie prep, and then we had the Open. But no, it was so good to be involved. Like that was sort of like one of the things that was my dream, if you like, when not to sound too cliche, but when I started back in 2017, I was watching Gwent esports, seeing people
Mhm.
like Merchant, Mogwai, McBeard, etc., like doing their thing. Jag, of course, too. So yeah, it was great, and to work with Jag was just great. And I'm actually hoping to go see Jag soon.
Oh, that's cool.
Still not actually met anyone in real life from Gwent, so I think Jag's probably odds on to be the favourite because my sister's lives in Edinburgh, which isn't too
Mhm.
far, I don't think, from Jag. So I reckon I'm going to set my sister up with Jag as well. I reckon those two will get on like a house on fire. So
Yeah, it's really cool. And like you said, she's super experienced. She's been with us, in the early beginnings when we were, forming, the first, let's say, initial esports caster teams. And yeah, I recently also met up with Mogwai because he was in Warsaw. It was really good to see him. And yeah, it's really cool to go back to those days from time to time and kind of think like the things how we did them in the beginning, how we're doing it now, and hopefully we can get to a point where this Corona crap is over and we can actually have everybody once again in the studio and actually meet up, talk, interact with the players and stuff like that because you kind of miss that because doing it all online is kind of it's cool. It's much easier for us when it comes on the production side, but of course it's not as cool as having people there and actually getting to talk to them and hang out because I think that's also important in the whole thing.
yeah, definitely. I think that's one thing I'm really hoping to do next year. Ryan like mentioned when am I coming to Warsaw, and yeah, that's something I would love to just go and do and go and see all the different like friends that I've made like in the last year, and it's people around the world. It would be so cool to just go and see everyone. Obviously, all convening in one place would be ideal, but even not, just going to see people would be great. So yeah, I think Warsaw is probably going to be the most likely place as well, where like
Nice.
obviously so many people from the Gwent community are living in and around that area. And there's TwitchCon as well that's scheduled for Amsterdam, I
Yep.
think in July, which I'm hoping to go to as well. So
I want to go
yeah,
too. I want to go
hope.
too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'll be so nice to just have like I think lots of people will be planning to go there. And I mean, Amsterdam is actually really close to where I live. Really, like I think I can even
Same.
get the train there, I believe. So shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah, it's
Be a
not
winner.
also super super far for us. I wanna probably beginning of the year I'm gonna try to get me and Ryan to go. I think it would be cool. I mean, it's
Mhm.
also it's good for networking. It's good to get there and kind of meet everybody. And yeah, I know that a lot of streamers, content creators are there, so it's really cool just to meet everybody in person, get to talk to them, hang out, grab a beer or something to eat, and interact, more closely with everybody, which is cool. So yeah,
Yeah, that
right.
sounds like a winner. The other thing as well, I wanted to, I can't remember their name, but one of the band that does a lot of the music for, I think, like in the Gwent songs and in The Witcher. Uh,
Percival.
yes, they're playing in Paris next year, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm considering. Just need to see the financial situation because I'm getting my own place hopefully in January. So, but if all's good, that's one thing I'd love to do next year.
Yeah,
They're in
they're
Warsaw as well, Ryan says.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, they're amazing and really cool to see like them perform live because they use quite interesting instruments to play and it's really cool. It's really cool music.
Yeah, that
Nice.
sounds like such a touch. Like music's something I absolutely love listening to. I managed to go to a festival this year as well, which was just like very surreal to be surrounded by so many people, like just enjoying themselves. So yeah, going to meet up with Gwent people, listen to music sounds like the perfect combo, really.
Yeah, agreed. I also kind of miss like in live concerts a lot because yeah, it's
Mhm.
something that you do or you go to festivals in the summertime and kind of or even things that happening outside. It's just really cool to go with friends, meet up. It's yeah. I also enjoy music. Are there any type of music that you like steer towards? Or any type of music that you like prefer or like?
Yeah, I've got quite like a diverse taste. My dad has like a massive record collection. Like it's one of his biggest hobby really is listening to
Same here.
music. So when growing
My
up,
dad
like he
too.
was, yeah, that's and growing up, then I just listened to a lot of the stuff my dad listened to, really. So he listens to sort of like quite a lot of like UK bands, but like he also is listens to just quite a lot of like singers I've never heard of and stuff like that. So my dad loves his music, and it's just rubbed off on me, really. Like growing up, I listened to lots of like indie type stuff, like Arctic Monkeys, Jamie T.
Nice.
Um, saw myself as a bit of a hipster. Like when Ed Sheeran released his first album, I used to just have that on repeat until it came a little bit too mainstream. I was like, nah, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. But then more recently, I listened to quite a lot of particularly UK rap music, but like
Okay.
from elsewhere as well. But I listened to all sorts. That's actually one of the things that was so great last year was because there wasn't like massive DMCA stuff. I found so much new music from streaming. I was just listening to music and people would recommend music to me that we'd be playing on stream, and that's definitely something I do miss being able to
Yeah.
listen to a bunch of music on stream. But hopefully, I do the occasional like secret stream I call it, where I delete the VOD and hope not to get caught. But I do need to be careful because it's the last. It's just not worth risking, is it really?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is a lovely thing just being able to listen to some music, and especially with if people in chat can recommend stuff, and there's often people that have got very similar tastes, and
True.
you hear
True.
music from different obscure parts. Like I remember listening to some Greek rap music last year and really enjoying it. It was
Ooh.
really cool.
Nice. Yeah, it's crazy how much music there is actually out there. And like you said, when you're streaming or when you're like for me when I'm cycling, I also listen to a lot of music. Or I also get like I would listen to Spotify, so I would get like recommendations when it comes to like different songs that are kind of fitting my current tastes. And yeah, it's really good. But also like getting recommendations for music from people is even better. So yeah, I think also, and I like you the thing you said. Like my dad always has and still has his like big collection of records that he's keeping.
Hmm.
So he kind of influenced the music and kind of the things that I got interested when I was younger. And I saw I'm kind of seeing that the older I'm getting, the more I'm trying to to listen to the stuff he does. And also someone mentioned just in chat like me listening to Rammstein while cycling. Totally, I have Rammstein on one of my like playlists, which is like when I'm going all in all out. So yeah, heavy metal's the best for it. Also stuff like Eye of the Tiger is there, so there's like it's like a mix of everything. There's some
That sounds right up my little
techno.
brother's
Yeah.
street. I have the tiger. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some techno even there, like German techno, which is good, and anything that gets your blood pumping faster and kind of the legs spinning.
That's
Um,
like music's another thing to do with teaching as well. Something that would really interest me doing is like working with some sort of like artists where you would go into schools and like break down their lyrics like you would an English lesson, right? Like
mhm,
particularly sort of like rap focused music. Obviously, it would have to be age appropriate, of course.
of
But
course.
there's a singer Arlo Parks who she just won the Mercury Prize in the
Hmm.
UK, and I used to play quite a lot of her music to my class, like because. The only thing I wish I did was that I printed off the lyric sheets and like looked at it like you would a poem, because you do poetry, which
Oh,
a lot of
that's
kids can
cool.
get involved with because it's
Yeah.
like similar to rap music. But actually, that's I think something that maybe I'd like to see doing more in schools, where you actually like look at like a piece of music like you would a poem, because I mean, there's so many brilliant like writers and lyricists really that would be something that I'd love to do
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
down the line. And then I just have this vision of like a big school trip at the end where like all the schools from the area go and see a gig of this artist
Oh,
play. That'd
that'd be
be really
amazing.
cool.
That'd be
Like
amazing.
something I would have loved to have done at school. So, and I'd like to do it as a teacher as well, like go on this school trip. That see Arlo Parks, that'd be very cool.
Yeah, you get kids like into music very easily, and I know also because like my daughter, she's 6, and whenever we're listening to any type of music, that I'm listening to in the car, she like gravitates toward that. She tries to mimic the lyrics, although we're mainly talking in Polish, but she's learning English, but she's also learning English through songs. So it's like natural things that kids pick up, and they really get into the music, the artist. They get to know the artist a little bit more, and then the next step is actually going to a concert and actually seeing that artist perform. Yeah. So someone is asking, do you want to go see Post Malone in Portugal next year?
Post Malone isn't exactly. I mean, I listen to him. One of my good best friends loves Post Malone,
I
so I mean,
love his music, and I love that he's
I
a
could be
card game
down.
player. He plays Magic, so I mean,
Really, yeah, yeah.
he's one of us, you could say, card
I mean, it's
nerds.
not that I don't like Post Malone. I definitely listen to like some of his music, but he's not my exact cup of tea. I'm more like there's just something with me like as soon as someone's like super like huge, I'm just too much of a hipster. I'm the same with Gwent decks, man. I don't like playing meta decks. I like playing like my own thing and just trying to be a bit of a hipster, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, totally get that. Yeah, I mean, it's although it's cool, like when you're supporting a band or someone, and then they become big. You're happy for them, but you're kind of like, oh, now everybody knows him. It's not cool
Yeah,
to
yeah,
listen to, right?
definitely.
Yeah, and I also
Um,
agree on the not going with the meta decks, but mixing stuff up and playing something weird and clunky, but making it your own.
that's it. And just like touching on what you mentioned as well of your daughter listening to music and picking up English, I think that's so fascinating that, like in my country, we're quite lucky that obviously a lot of the rest of the world speak English. So
Exactly.
growing up, I only spoke English. I had, I did French lessons and Spanish lessons, and I remember basically none of it. And obviously, a lot of the kids, the British kids that grow up in England, are very lucky to have that. But then you've got a lot of children that do have English as an additional language, and it's just like so fascinating that in different countries like that you can pick it up so easy when you're younger, but then it takes so much effort. Like as soon as you hit like that older age, if you're actually just having to do it, yeah, it's really really interesting, and that's something that really surprised me. I think as well as I've got to know the community more this year, like just how many people speak English. It's quite extraordinary, and I guess in my country, we really take that for granted, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you guys need to use the language. We learn the language because our primary language is Polish, and that's the one we learn in school. And then we have also, starting already in primary school, you start off with having English classes, and some private schools have more of it. There are some schools which are like British or American, and they kind of stick to only having classes in the language, so you kind of get into it like instantly, and you need to learn it because as a child, hardly ever many kids have any background, like they know a couple words like mom, dad, dog,
Hmm.
cat, simple stuff that they get from songs. But apart from that, there's no other option to kind of learn it. And I think the emphasis in Poland on English has always been kind of very very huge, because like it's the universal language for a lot of us, and we feel like it's the language that lets us talk to people from different countries and interact with them. So it's like a must to have good English here.
Hmm.
you know
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think it's something I'd love to do is go watch some of those lessons if I was still teaching as well, like and sort of just see like the different approach. Because as I say, while we learn French here, like in primary school, a lot of the
Mhm.
time it's like once every 2 or 3 weeks, and it's like for 30 minutes. You're not going to learn a language doing that, are you? Let's be honest. And clearly, however they're teaching English in Poland is working very bloody well because so many people's English is just such yours is just completely flawless. Better than my English a lot of the time. Like I get memed on a lot of the time because I have to ask for like what like definitions of words and I mispronounce things and all that sort of stuff.
I mean,
So
it happens to all of us. I was, I was in the, like, for me, I learned English because I was actually, as a kid, during, like, I finished first grade here in Poland, and then we moved with my family to the US. So I spent 4 years in school there in elementary school. So that's kind of where I learned, learned language straight from people who actually spoke it. So as a kid, you're like a sponge. You take
yeah,
language like super easily, and other stuff you learn it very very quickly. And you kind of, it's much easier. Like now, when I was in university, when I was trying to learn Spanish, for example, it was much harder for me to learn it than it was when I was a kid, because I was kind of forced and put into a place where you need to learn the language. Although, us as kids coming from different countries, because there were kids from all around the world there, like we would learn English through songs, through games, and stuff like that. So it's more natural for you to pick it up that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool, and I think it's really a shame in many ways that people growing up in this country like there's not that need to learn another language because it connects you with so many more people, doesn't it? And something that I wish I had under my belt, and certainly like a lot of the international students that I was such good friends with, like my Spanish friends, etc., that could just speak such good English. It's just like I just wish I could do that. Go to, for example, Poland and go and speak Polish. That would be so cool. But alas, I'm just whatever.
Polish is a
What can you
super
do?
hard language though to learn.
I've
I
heard
would I
actually.
would I would not recommend picking it up. Like really,
I was
it's
actually
weird.
watching Matty Cash do some Polish, and he wasn't doing too well with it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Circling back to your origin story when it comes to playing Gwent for the first time, you said that you started off with The Witcher. And when it comes to The Witcher, if you had to like pinpoint your favorite character from the whole universe, can be a character that is also in Gwent, although it would be better to stick to Witcher itself. Who was the character that you felt drawn to the most, or the one that you enjoyed the most?
Um, I mean, It's a very, very good question. I think, to be honest, the one that probably most comes to mind would have to be Gaunter. It has to be
Ooh,
Gaunter.
nice.
Has to be. Gaunter's always like the man that I've got using my. He's like my most common leader skin that I use as well.
I saw
I
your
only
face
still.
on Gonter too, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's my logo, exactly. So yeah, it's got to be Gaunter. Just I remember having played Heart of Stone, like just watching so many YouTube videos about Gaunter ODM, like theory videos, all those sorts of stuff. Like I remember showing my friends like videos of him and just this guy's so cool, mate. So yeah, I'd have to say Gaunter, but I didn't actually play Hearts of Stone for like quite a while after Witcher. So
Hmm.
from Witcher 3 itself, Yennefer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
love
so
Yennefer,
you're
mate.
you're Team Yen, not Team Chris.
Absolutely, yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
Respect on that one. Did you get to play Blood and Wine though?
That is going to happen
Hmm.
because I am doing the Witcher 3 playthrough with the
Ooh,
ambition of I've gone from the start and I'm going to get to Blood and Wine. I'm going to make it happen. I wanted
nice.
to save it to play it on stream actually,
Hmm.
um, and yeah, it's just never happened. But I've been in Novigrad for like 8 months, so
Hmm.
I need to motor. But I've been playing a little bit the last couple of weeks, and I'm also reading through the Witcher books incredibly slowly because I don't read.
Ooh.
But the only books I've actually really read in the last 6 years that aren't like education related are
Hmm.
the Witcher books. So
Ooh,
I
nice.
just read the short story about Dudu. I need
Oh,
to finish
nice.
that book because obviously the season 2 of the Netflix is
Hmm.
out soon as well.
Yeah.
So
So we'll
I
be
want to
able to
make sure
catch
I'm
up.
ahead of the curve with the books.
Nice, nice. I'm really happy that you picked up the books. And yeah, I think they're more like books. Like I also know for myself, I'm not a very big reader. Like I'm also not a person that likes to read a lot, but I really enjoy audiobooks. And it's like with
Hmm.
audiobooks, you're kind of thinking about it. Are you kind of, can you say that you read the book or you listened to the book? Because because you listened to it, but you kind of read it because you know it. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's good because you can do it while you're doing other things. Like for me, running,
Yeah.
cycling, totally easy. I have the same thing now with I'm listening started listening to Dune, right? So it's like a long 21
Hmm.
hour thing to listen to. But we went to see the movie. I loved the movie a lot, and I remember reading the book as a kid, but I don't really remember a lot from the book itself. So I was like, okay, I need to go back to it and read it now or listen to it now to kind of refresh my memory. And then when the second part comes out, I can be maybe not even ahead of the curve, but kind of be more informed going into the movie itself.
Yeah, I think audiobooks is something I need to pick up really because I even mentioned to you before the stream started how my sleep schedule is a bit of a mess because I'm often on my phone and staying up late,
Yeah.
and sometimes I whack a podcast on or something that I don't know. I've never been a massive fan of like a bunch of podcasts. I don't know, like I try, but there's never something that really
Hmm.
like feels exactly what I'm looking for. So I guess an audiobook would be the perfect way where I can close my eyes, don't have to have the light on like you would if you're reading, and try and actually like just yeah, I think that'll be a good idea. The only thing is I've already bought the book, so I'm a bit of a minge bag. I don't want to pay for the audiobooks too, but I might have to bite the bullet. Could be
Yeah.
an idea.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with things like Audible now that you have on your phone, you get like you have a monthly subscription, you get credits, and based off the credits, you're able to at least download one book per month,
Hmm.
and that's how I've been doing it. But the problem also with me is I consume like a lot of podcasts. Like on a
Hmm.
weekly basis, I listen to at least five, per one per day easily. Maybe
Hmm.
I don't do it as much on the weekends, but I do it for sure not on the weekends, so during the week. So yeah, it's something that I really like because when it comes to podcasts themselves, I really like to see like you get to kind of meet different people and you learn a lot about them, but you also like you get to choose which type of content you're really interested in. And some people are, I really like the ones that focus on individuals and stuff like that, but I also like ones done by comedians. I also like ones which are connected only to sports, like when the Tour de France is on or any other major tour, I listen to all the podcasts and get kind of the inside scoop and kind of what the journalists saying about different things, all about the drama, things that are happening behind the scenes. So when it's that time, I'm really really into those things. Yeah.
I think that's what's great about podcasts as well is and audiobooks. Like before you could only consume educational content or whatever else it might be if you're sat down and actually reading it. Whereas now, if you're commuting, if you're on the bike, whatever you're doing in the gym, you can consume this content, which is a big change really in it, like compared to before. And
Yeah.
what would be your top podcast recommendations? Would you think?
I really like the Ritual podcast. This guy is an older dude who pretty much he's a vegan. He's a ultra runner, ultra triathlon person. So that's the one I really gravitated to because it was sports connected. But the type
Mhm.
of people that he has on him are like people who come from different walks of life. Of course, there's a lot of athletes coming in, but there's like people who talk about like Huberman, who talks about the microbiome, what you're supposed to be eating, when you should be fasting and on fasting, so things connected to stuff like that.
That
And you have
sounds right up
yeah,
my street, actually.
and then you have
Yeah,
politicians also come in, you have surfers come in, you have deep sea divers come in, so all that kind of stuff. And he also does it on YouTube and stuff like that. So I totally gravitate towards that because I like the plethora, let's say, of the people he invites through, because everyone's different and everybody brings something different, a different message to it. So yeah, I like that one.
yeah,
So
that sounds like
Ritual,
a minute.
yeah. And of course, Joe Rogan is the one. I think it's one of the most well known ones, and the rest are mainly ones which are connected to cycling. And one which is connected to a comedian is Chris D'Elia's podcast called Congratulations. So he's a stand up comic from the US, and yeah, he's just all over the place, funny, shit talking and stuff like that. So it's just something that is totally different. No, Joe Rogan is not coming to Gwent. I wish he was. As a neutral card, yes, as a neutral card.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's like the only one I really listen to. Like H3 podcasts, I do sometimes as well. But apart from that, I struggle to find them really, like something I actually want to listen to. But I think, as I mentioned, it's something I'm maybe gravitating more towards. Like I know podcasts has taken off a lot more recently, and it's yeah, definitely something that, like, as well as audiobooks, I think would be a good thing for me to start doing because you can consume them easily while you're doing other things. So
Yeah,
why not?
yeah, that's the cool thing about them. That yeah, when you're, like you said, when you're in the gym, cycling, running, whatever, you can just listen to it. For a lot of people, I know it's like when you're commuting, it's the same thing. But the thing I have is like when I'm consuming any type of like audio content, it's hard for me to consume it while just sitting in place. I don't think I'm good at sitting in place and not doing things. I don't know if you are the same, but I like things to be I like to be in motion and doing something and then just listening in on my earbuds.
No, that makes sense for sure.
Awesome. Cool. Where can people find you if they have not found you yet? Because I don't think there are many people like this, because I see like we have a lot of viewers and probably most of them are coming from your community. So when it comes to finding you, where can people find you, follow you, and get to know more about you?
Yeah, so on Twitch, I'm just Specimen. I'll
Mm-hmm.
type in the chat in a minute. And I usually stream sort of. I've started my schedule. I'm probably the streamer with the worst schedule because I'm so sporadic. But I'm sort of usually at the moment anyway. The plan is to just be streaming around this time of the day. And for like 2 or 3 hours, I stream Gwent at the moment. Maybe a
Mm-hmm.
little longer some days. Like I streamed, I think Gwent for like 6, 7 hours yesterday. And then also my YouTube channel where I upload a Gwent video every day, apart from yesterday when I forgot to press upload. And that's Specimen Gwent on YouTube as well.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Any message you want to pass on to the people watching, or anything you want to close this off with?
I guess just thanks for watching, thanks for having me as well, and thanks guys for being in the
Absolute
chat.
pleasure.
Recognize lots of familiar faces. Zubidu wanted me to say this word in the chat, but I can't read it, so I'm gonna have to not say that. Unlucky Zubidu. But no, yeah, and on the topic of podcasts, actually, before one thing I should mention,
Hmm.
I do actually want to start one next year. It's going to be football related. That's
Ooh,
the game plan.
nice,
Like
nice.
that's maybe just big, huge market for that, right? But
Yeah,
obviously, lots of competition as well. But
yeah,
yeah, that's maybe the game plan for next year to start being. There's the World Cup in December, Winter World
true.
Cup. So let's try and get that like up and running and popping off in time for that. And I said popping off, damn it!
Awesome.
Someone predicting how many times I'd say popping off. I was gonna try not to
No,
say it,
but
but I said it.
people say you're gonna use banger all the time, but
Oh, banger.
I didn't even hear one banger. So I think I mean that's the only one we heard. So it doesn't count because we're ending. So we can still say that the total was 0. But yeah, coming back to that, if you did the podcast for like football related, would you like to keep it like just audio or audio and also video form and have like
I
a separate
do.
YouTube channel for it?
Yeah, I do audio video. I think like YouTube's the key to everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just got the best algorithms that's going to put your content in front of people that want to watch it. I think that's the same reason why like Spotify, I can never really discover
It's
podcasts very
very
often.
hard,
Like,
very hard. Like Spotify, it will give you like a couple of recommendations, but it's very hard to find. B, if you don't know what you're really looking for or a topic, it's very hard to find what you're interested in.
yeah, I think like with Spotify, if your podcast is going to do well, you already have to have a following, right? Like, and then you go on Spotify and people watch, and then it will get recommended. Whereas YouTube, of course, it's the same. Like, of course, the bigger following you already have, the more people will get recommended it. But the YouTube algorithm is just way more advanced, really, than anywhere else. Really, that's why it is like even than Twitch, right?
Yeah.
That's the other biggest tip I would say to someone that wants to start streaming. Start as soon as possible and make a YouTube channel.
Yeah, totally agreed. Especially that, when you're watching something on YouTube, the algorithm is so smart that it's just giving you more and more and more content. Of course, this can be a vicious circle because I know sometimes you start, watching one thing and then you see, wow, 3 hours or 4 hours pass because I watched the next thing and the next thing and the next thing because it was connected to something that I was, that I was kind of interested in.
Yeah, and that's what it's for, right? That's the YouTube algorithm's designed to keep people on the platform for as long as possible, which means that there's a big benefit for them recommended videos that are that YouTube think people want to watch. So your content will get put in front of the people that want to watch it most, really.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Especially once again, thank you. It was awesome having you as a guest. And for next week, I will choose because I have already a lot of names in my hat. So I will use the random name generator once again. Choose 4 names. You guys will be able to vote. And based off of those votes, we will be seeing who will be joining me next week for the next week. And yeah, that's it. Especially once again, thank you, man. It was awesome. Really great to get to know you a little bit better. And yeah, thank you for sticking with us.
No, it was a great chat. Thanks for having me. And if anyone is interested, if you don't mind, I'm going to plug. I'm going to stream in like 5 minutes. So
awesome.
Going to be playing some Gwent today. So if anyone wants to come hang out, I'll be live in 5 minutes or so.
Cool stuff. All right, man. Take care. Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend. And yeah, see you all.
Top man. Thanks.
Bye-bye.